or whether they have an online activity. What was already happening is 28% of these employees were already working at least half a day per week from their home. And imagine what COVID has changed since then. What is currently happening with COVID is that we're seeing companies being digitalized. And what has really accelerated this digitalization has maybe not come from the CEO nor the CEO, Chief Technical Officer, but actually from COVID itself. I remember talking with Credit Suisse prior to COVID, and a lot of friends were saying never is it going to be possible for us in terms of transparency, in terms of data protection to work remotely. COVID came and in 5 days, all of the employees could work remotely. So this is something that has done 10 steps ahead. There might be potentially 2 steps back, but we've seen the acceleration of digitalization. And now, recent studies have said after the crisis, 80% of the employees will want to continue working remotely. So often what we're discussing with Sandrine and with Daniel is home office the only alternative to remote working, or is there a possibility for tourism to welcome new ways of working? This is a study I did at IMD on disruptive innovation. Basically what we looked at is the trends in terms of working. So work from home went to work from office to work from anywhere. So initially, people were nomads, you know? Now we are called digital nomads, but people were used to working and moving, and then they settled down. So then we had the ability to work from home. Then office came in before colonialism, and this enhanced what we called work activity. And then started having the first business centers, the cyber coffees, video conferences. So now the latest trend is going towards work from anywhere. And what TechCrunch is saying is post-COVID, work from home is actually going to be dead, and long live work from anywhere. We got to structure what the private life and the professional life has not managed now to do. We got to bring between the two, and this is what we try to explore tonight together. And I look forward to having your input. So in terms of the industry, Swiss Tourism, the Confederation, have been working to see how hotel industry and tourism are also going the digital way. And I guess today, during Digital Switzerland, there was thoughts on how those two could combine. So Airbnb, Booking, and other external and foreign softwares are taking a big chunk of this revenue. And how can we ensure that this revenue stays within the industry? So this is really to set the base for the project. And maybe before we dive into this project and what we're trying to develop with Hotel Mama and Hotel de Vignes, I would like to let Sandrine take over and introduce Hotel Mama and how she came to actually launching one of the first co-working space in a hotel in an alpine environment. Thank you, Sandrine.
Thank you so much, Neil. So, Neil and I, we met 2 years ago through a mutual friend, and he came up to me and said, listen, I have this idea, it's co-working spaces, would you like to open one here with me together in Zermatt? In that time, I really didn't know anything about that. We're in the mountains, it's not a city lifestyle, it takes longer until trends reach here. So I was happy to learn about what the co-working is, what it means, and what it takes to be part of it. And we started a trial, like a test phase during the first year, which was in the Hotel Admiral. Before the Hotel Mama, it was called Hotel Admiral. And the first year, or it was half year, we really took that time to explain, which was very important, to explain to the local businesses, to students, to people here, what it means and how it happened to be in a hotel. It came more from it wasn't really planned, because when Neil asked me, we were thinking out of the box what could be a suitable place, and out of nowhere I said, listen, we have a room at the hotel, which is the famous chimney room where people are supposed to go and read there, sit in front of the fire. And it wasn't, the thought process of saving spaces in the rooms, of creating a new community inside your hotel wasn't even there. And to grow together with Neil and PuraWorka, to understand the big potential that such a collaboration can bring was incredible. Because not only are we now a hotel that can provide more comfort for our guests, but also it's a really big step into what it happened to be the future, and now already it's the present. And to be able to explore on a daily basis what we can adapt, how we work, as we ourselves, our life is also changing from day to day, even now faster. So it is a pleasure, and I'm so glad to be in this collaboration, to see how we can help people still get together, how somebody has an idea and then another person is coming up to help them, how people are bonding inside the hotel, creating memories. This is something I have never imagined. And to see how, but what is very important for us as hoteliers, the spaces, their big costs include connected to everything. So to have a space that we can use in a multifunctional way is something so practical and very good. So not only, of course, you can say it is so easy just to take a room and I'll serve breakfast, and then for breakfast I'll leave the desks for people to work. But this is not what PuraWorka is. PuraWorka is not only a co-working space, it brings the community. It's a whole community that gathers, that us as hoteliers, we have our community, we have our guests who visit us and who come to us for lodging or for dining. But again, it is so important, I think, to understand that experts are needed in these collaborations so that these two worlds can function very well together. And we're happy to be part, also within Vignes, the upper part of Vignes, and Zermatt and Sion. We're so happy to have this, family growing, as also us between hoteliers, we can play together, we can create packages, we can make very nice experiences and create nice experiences for our guests that give us advantages towards other hotels, or also to cover every need, or hopefully every need that our guests have. And with that, I'd like to give the word to Hotel de Vignes, please.
Thank you, Sandrine. Happy to be part of the game, part of the family of the story. My wife and I, as I said, bought the hotel a little bit more than 5 years ago. We had a big restaurant, gastronomic restaurant, who didn't really work. A lot of costs, and the food was too expensive. So we were thinking about the new concept of restoration of F&B, and we realized it in 3 years ago in our lobby near the cheminée, near the bar. So we had 200 square meters of all the restaurants that we didn't use. We had a lot of business clientele who worked already in the lobby, in the lounge, in an open space, combined with a bar and a restaurant. And my idea was to create a new room in the hotel, an input for the hotel, different than creating another restaurant or conference rooms in the regular way. And I had this idea of an open space working. I didn't even know co-working in what it meant today for me. And I had a contact with Florence Maurer, who worked in our hotel at the reception, who opened a new co-working in Sion called La Cabine. And through Florence, I had the contact finally with Neil 1.5 years ago. We worked on the project. We were a little bit stopped in the beginning of COVID, but we worked hard even during COVID to create and realize the co-working space we have today. We opened 2 weeks ago, so we've made our first experience. We have a lot of young studies already, 3-4 all day, working in the co-working. And it's an opportunity as well for the hotel, for our staff, for our clients who know Hotel de Vignes, and we have overtaken it and renovated the hotel. It's a plus for a new clientele as well, who already travels, works, maybe have family, want to spend a weekend, then go up to Zermatt to have 2 days of ski and still working 1 or 2 hours a day. I think the combination of hotel in a traditional style with restaurant and all the amenities we have and a new input with the co-working is opening a new way for the hotel, a new clientele, a younger clientele. Also, the old man of the hotel have to. It's the first time I make a conference like this. Thank you very much, Neil, to learn me each day something new in this digital and nomad world. Happy to be and proud to be part of your project.
Thank you very much, Sandrine and Daniel, and don't worry, I learn every day from Pierre, who is helping us on the digital side. So I'll get back to the presentation. Excellent. Dealing with technology is the other thing we had to pivot quite quickly with the latest COVID situation. So just in a couple of words, what is PuraWorka? Basically, we establish co-working and co-living places in beautiful destinations. We have Zermatt, who were the first to believe it in our project. Once we had done a pop-up in La Tsuma, who went for it. Now we have Sion, we have a place in Lombok, and really it's going beyond co-working. Our aim is to have an ecosystem of services, whether it's accommodation, you see it clearly with the hotels, whether it's sports, culture, workshops, we do a lot of events, and also having mobility and smart mobility as really the core of sustainability. So maybe I'll quickly show you a video. Whether the sound or not is going to work, I think the most important is the images. So you see what Sandrine and we, PuraWorka, had a vision and how it came into places. So this is the vision Sandrine and we had, and this is where we're actually sitting at the moment. Now, please look at Sion, and before we imagined what is going to be shown to you after in a couple of pictures, this is how Sion looked like 2 months ago. Again, probably without the sound, but the images speak by themselves.
Mais j'étais assis en après-midi sur la projet. J'ai enlevé le wifi, j'étais à changer. Et je voulais voir mon château parce qu'ils ont décidé sur la
Si tu voulais le lien sur la télé, là, télécharger ton PowerPoint, la vidéo.
C'est là.
So this is how it looks today. You saw the pictures, and this is as well where Daniel and Pierre are currently sitting. Welcome to come and visit Zermatt or Sion. We will be happy to discuss it more in detail with you. What the main objectives of Hotel Mama, Hotel de Vignes, and us is to really explore new business models, whether it's going to be related to companies or whether it's going to be related to digital nomads, individuals, to develop new competencies, new skills within the hotel industry, and as well to create a hub to welcome startups and to allow startups to actually test some of their latest projects within the hotels themselves. And this is really interesting, is the hotels are welcoming ideas and initiatives from startups to enhance as well their digital knowledge. So the various partners are Digital Nomad Schweiz. It's a Verein, it's an NGO of digital nomads. They were traveling all around the world, and currently they're realizing that they can travel within Switzerland, and it's really interesting. You see, on the B2B side, there's an initiative I welcome you to go and check out. It's called WorkSmart. It has more than 250 signatories, big companies that allow flexible work. And that was already set up before COVID. And I'm sure you can believe that this will accelerate the new signatories of companies within Switzerland from the public and private sector that allow flexible work for their staff. In terms of tourism backup, the presence of PuraWorka tonight is enabled through Zermatt Tourism and Zermatt and that have set up this digital, and we have other partners that help us throughout this. We also have other stakeholders, whether it's the hotel industry, Veronique Canel is also there tonight, Valévalis Promotion, and we have companies that are testing the facilities and giving us feedback to enhance the offer. So what will this project really develop? It's going beyond the usual seminars. We have actually workshops which bring innovation to companies. We welcome the Polytechnical School of Lausanne. We will welcome as well Swiss Life or Bouchard Voyage to provide them more than an experience of having a meeting room, but actually discussing their business model, or having the Polytechnical School of Lausanne giving us feedback on the co-working facilities. And we will also want you tonight to give us feedback on how do you see the change of work influencing the tourism industry. In terms of digital nomads, the first digital nomads were what I call backpackers 2.0. If you go to Bali, you see about 20 to 30 co-working spaces. And they were the first in Thailand as well to welcome digital nomads. And now what we thought is, why take the plane to Bali when you could actually stay within Switzerland? And it's not just to welcome what we call backpackers 2.0, but the workforce from Switzerland can work remotely. And this is really up to us to think, okay, we cannot just provide them co-working, but we have to also offer them other services such as accommodation. We have to develop new business models to welcome them and allow them to come and stay, sleep, work, come either with their family or come with their company and work remotely. So basically, how does it work? We have a revenue split between PuraWorka, the hotel, and then we separate between nights, services. So it's to provide a full experience, because if we only were to set up a co-working without giving life to it, it wouldn't work the same way. I'll just quickly get the latecomers in, come back to the presentation. And the last one is really this idea of having a digital hub to really make the hotel a place where startups can test their business models. Two concrete examples. In Sion, Cargo Bike are developing smart mobility, and they help us to imagine how Hotel de Vignes and how Zermatt can be connected together, whether it's by train, whether it's by bike. And we will be also having, fingers crossed, the autonomous bus that will be stopping in front of Hotel de Vignes and driving clients to the train station of Saint-Léonard. As Zermatt has smart mobility, Travelize as well is an example of a startup that organizes weekends, surprise weekends. They have clients coming to Hotel de Vignes. We want them as well to be connected to Hotel Mama. So it's going again beyond a simple office space, but it's really trying to incorporate local startups in order to enhance the digitalization of hotels. And this is as well very interesting, giving life as well to what the co-working can be within the hotel, within the industry. Why do we do that? What are the objectives of Tour? First of all, as we've said, is to develop new business models for the hotel itself, as Sandrine and Daniel have said. Then it's to attract new type of clients, not only young ones, but also different companies or different type of clients that would come to the hotel, not just sleep, but consume differently. It's changing the season of when clients can come. Imagine how the number of holidays is split between peak seasons. Now you're having potentially a workforce that has 250 days per year that can come in those places and consume. They can stay longer as well. They can come in October, November, December. Imagine the day that you will have startups from Berlin or London that will come and enjoy the autumn here and the nice colors, and they would be able to work remotely, put their flats on Airbnb, and work from Zermatt, Sion, or new destinations that we will want to welcome. We are launching as well new products. How can we make it flexible for companies to work from Zermatt or work from Sion? Then it's also to enhance the current services that hotels have. Again, if this can enable Sandrine or Daniel to enhance their experience, this is something that is at the core of our research. To create links between the destination. This is also something very interesting for us. And why not new competences? People working at the reception in the hotels, people working at the bars are also being taught and brought in more and more on what the co-working can be. They're also in contact with the clients. And we believe that local clients from Zermatt can benefit from being sitting next to those digital nomads. And why not create projects between the two? And then lastly, we believe as well that the minds and the brains from the outside can help the locals and vice versa to progress on this digitalization. This is a project which we want to also open source. So because it's in Auto, what we are pioneering with Sandrine and Daniel will hopefully benefit, as tonight's workshop is the proof, by sharing as well the lessons that we're learning, what we're trying. And one point which was interesting brought by Sandrine is to have multi-model to Uberize existing spaces. Imagine what small percentage of meeting rooms is being used, and what is the price per square meter of these meeting rooms that are in resorts, and how can we Uberize them as well. And here in Zermatt, there's the perfect combination of breakfast room, lunch, dinner room with co-working, and this is how we are bringing also new revenue streams together. We want as well, with Sandrine and Daniel, to create a network of co-working and hotel destinations in order to start having exchanges between the two. And we believe that this will also help attractivity of destinations like Zermatt, Sion, and others to welcome different clients, but also maybe potentially better quality of clients. Because if people are coming and staying longer and bringing more, they're not just coming through mass tourism on a daily basis, but they're actually participating to what the local economy wants. And I think, and we believe that these type of clients may be of better quality and bring more than just come take a picture of the Matterhorn and leave at the end of the day. Just quick break up all it. So then this is carried by the hotel industry, and also to conclude, the idea then is to create a network not only in Switzerland but internationally, and we welcome the audience tonight and in the month and years to come to join this project. I will quickly go to sustainability. We talked about local economy. If you understand this notion of ecosystem services, for us is very important. If we go to Zermatt, we work with local established families and hotels. If we go to Sion, that's also what we do. Very important in Lombok as well, to work with the local economy. Then we try as much as possible to have sustainable sourcing, smart mobility, having longer tourism, so people not just coming for the weekend, but prolonging their stay means as well reducing the sustainability and carbon impact of their stay. And we believe that with climate change in summer, this will be a solution to people working from big cities and migrating to alpine destinations and being able to work in a more comfortable situation. Then, of course, food waste management is important for us. So, before I conclude, I would like to pass the floor to the audience and welcome question and answers. Please, when you start, introduce yourself quickly, name, in which business you're working, and between Sandrine, Daniel, and myself, we'll be happy to take your questions. Thank you very much, and we look forward to this interaction. I've also got some questions to start the discussion, if you're shy. So I'll start with the questions then. So according to the audience, what are the key challenges on a private professional basis to work from anywhere? What are your key challenges, whether it's private or professional, to be able today to work from anywhere, to be able to work from Zermatt or Sion?
Tout le monde qui parle.
So,
Hey Neil, I can jump in. Well, I would say that in nowadays society, I think one of the first challenges, the main challenge, is still related to convincing your employer, your organization, that you can actually do that remotely, and especially from one of those destinations that you mentioned. I think many companies, many organizations still in Switzerland are very conservative towards this new way of working, and COVID is one, if we can say this way, but one of the benefits of this pandemic is that it's showing organizations how they can manage in a different way their human resources.
Thank you, Patrick. There's two things we notice. One is work from home is actually creating discussions for companies. Do they have to actually pay for the flats of their employees? Whether it's electricity, whether it's going to be an office, whether it's going to be Wi-Fi costs. So the figures in the co-working benchmark show that it is now becoming cheaper for an employer to pay co-working than to pay its own office of a company. And the second thing that we are noticing is the co-working can also reassure the employers, knowing that their employees will be going to a workspace, may be more reassuring than having their staff staying at home. So this is really, I think, from the co-working business to persuade or to attract companies by reassuring them that working from a co-working space may be more professional than staying at home. And then towards the staff and employees, it is telling them, maybe this is a way as well to structure your private from professional life. Does anyone else have a comment on the first question of what are your challenges on a personal basis or from a professional basis to work from anywhere?
Neil, I've got a question.
Yes, Emmanuel?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we're looking, are there like needs in fact developed like that normal life? But usually in economics, nice to have doesn't work. And okay, sorry to talk about COVID again, I'm also in risk management, but it also projected like a lab where you would experiment what we call like the COVID pods, okay, where, you know, like in France, at some point you could stay at home or go to an hotel, but it wouldn't solve the solution. Like what I see in your value proposition, you could like experiment, there are pods. Let's check with the confederation that idea where first you can work in an optimal environment, but at the same time be sure that you do not contaminate everybody. We know that the big problem today, and it won't be solved with rapid tests, is that at least you need to be like out of work for 5 days, okay, even if you've got your PC, but it's not optimal. So just a point like that, because I'm not sure that it's simply based on the nice to have that things will change.
It's a very good point, and then I'll let Sandrine and Daniel answer on that. And I would also like to have Véronique Canel introducing the bed and office initiative from My Switzerland, but the first reaction at the start of COVID with Sandrine was to say, should we not offer a new product where people could come, stay in a room at Hotel Mama, and work from there, and we could rent it on a daily basis. So actually, rooms could be transformed in offices. And then we realized that actually with the renovation of the hotel, we had Sandrine had taken away to push people to come down. Now, nevertheless, as you can see, Sandrine and I are in a separated part now, in order to ensure that we have enough distances and we can work in a very safe environment. But you're right, Emmanuel, there's definitely new products to develop, to think about how Hotel Mama or Hotel de Ville could even potentially rent out a hotel room like it was done in Lucerne for a day or maybe for an hour. And in order to accommodate maybe what this crisis will ask or force those hotels to be done. So I don't know, Sandrine or Daniel, if you would want to bounce back before we let Véronique present the bed and office initiative.
I think the example we make with the co-living in the two rooms we have one room who is. I think we try to play this rule with the co-living we can offer in Hotel de Ville. We have one room who is rather, you can stay overnight, but it's also a room to work with new furniture, and another room who is rather to sleep, but you also can work. So both are can be rent or used for working or living. So home office is a little bit in a hotel, but in a big home, and the office we can also offer in the room.
Sandrine, what is your view on that?
Yes, what we've done is that we also have a wine cellar at the hotel, which is on a separate floor. And we've had requests of people who wanted to be, for instance, alone for a few hours in a room. And as we designed, as Neil said, our rooms completely for a space that is made to be for relaxation, for just to stay over, for lodging, not primarily for working, although of course there's always a solution. We decided to offer people to work also at the wine cellar, and if the meeting goes well, they can open up the bottle of wine. But yes, people, if they want, they can just have their spaces, or as Neil just said, we have our niches, which are completely closed. Only the front part is open, so this also gives some privacy, and we will have to continue and can continue to evolve on that. On the continuous measures.
Thank you, Sandrine. Véronique, would you mind sharing a few words on this initiative of bed and office from My Switzerland? And to put you on mute. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So, Sandrine, you're getting to know me more until Véronique joins in. I will introduce it to her. So basically, the first idea was to be able to link cities to this idea of bed and bureau. And what we're currently discussing with My Switzerland and Véronique Canel and her colleagues is to be able to offer this for alpine destinations and going outside the city. So here you have a list of hotels in some of the major cities in Switzerland which offer possibility to have bed and bureau, and to be able to offer quite quickly a resilient new business models to accommodate workplace, hotel, and stay within some of the latest and trendiest hotels in the cities. And hopefully in a couple of weeks, Hotel Mama and Hotel Devi will be able to join this initiative and show that tourism outside cities can also accommodate this offer. So that was to quickly present this initiative at Bed and Bureau and showing how tourism is quickly adapting to the current situation, and hopefully all of these measures will stay in place post-COVID and enable a new type of product and service for this type of clients. So anybody would want to bounce back before I ask the next question? Okay, so my next question really would be to, within the audience, do you manage to separate work from your private life? When you go on holidays, do you completely disconnect? Or do you check your email secretly? And if there was a way to prolong your holidays, whether it's with your family or whether it's your friends, would you be looking into these type of solutions? Not saying work from holidays, but stay longer. So I would like to hear from the audience whether some of you secretly work on holidays or whether you would be open to stay longer and work remotely. So maybe Veronique, now you're unmuted.
Yes.
You want to take a look?
I hope everybody can hear me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for showing the latest initiative of Switzerland Tourism Bed and Bureau. The reason we started that was because, first of all, because the hotel in the cities are suffering a lot. So we're trying to find a way of using the spaces they are, exactly what you've been doing with the Hotel Mama and Hotel Vignes, and maximize the benefit of the situation we are in right now. What's interesting is that the model is quite flexible. As it is with the Hotel Mama and the Hotel Vignes, you can either work in your room part of the time if you don't like to go outside, especially right now that the rules are really strict. Or you can go to the open spaces, which also is interesting right now, because I think the most dramatic effect of working from home is that you're quite isolated. Even if you meet people via Zoom, where we are doing this right now, not only you're isolated, but you tend to, this is my personal experience, you tend to work more, to get more involved because you're in your own bubble, to get more involved in the work you're doing, and to leave out the breaks. The breaks like going out, breathing fresh air, which I feel is not going to happen that much if you're working in another environment, whether it's in Zermatt, in Sion, or in another place, because you also have people around you, and you see how it's nice outside. So it's absolutely a different environment. These are the most important aspect I see in co-working, and beyond the aspect of the people you can meet and the experiences you can share as well. I'm very wary personally of home office.
Thank you, Veronique. That's very right. I mean, that's going to be the big problem with home office and the screens, is that we're actually isolating ourselves. And of course, it helps us to be able to work from anywhere, but the danger is being stuck in this frame. So I think co-working helps to bring back human at the center, and at the same time enables people to be able to work from anywhere. There's a very good question from Marco in the chat, saying that the challenge having a family is that the schooling system is making a big barrier to be able to work from anywhere. At the same time, a lot of parents are taking their children off for a year to travel the world, and they're having to transform themselves in teachers. So what we're looking into with PuraWorka is thinking about PuraScola. So will there be a way, as for digital nomads, for children to be able to follow an international online schooling system, and 50% play with the local kids, join a school in Zermatt, and maybe go and do some drawing, do some skiing, doing creative things which do not necessarily need to know the local language. Same thing in Indonesia, same thing in Sion. So PuraScola is something we're thinking about. That's one answer to Marco. Then the other answer I want to discuss with you, Marco, is during summertime, children have 2 months of holidays, but parents often can only take 1 week or 2 weeks. So is there a way for the parents to come and stay 2 months in Zermatt, 2 months in Sion, or 2 months in Indonesia, and be able to enjoy those 2 months away whilst working, maybe mourning the mother or mourning the father, and enabling parents to be able to go longer on vacation? And the compromise is saying, okay, well, I got to work half a day here and there, and maybe the children or the partner can go and enjoy what best Zermatt, Sion, or Indonesia can offer. Same thing for winter, same thing for the current holidays we have. For the parents who usually have 4 weeks or 5 weeks, maybe they can, let's say, work remotely and enjoy with their families being away, rather than having to stay at home and dealing, as you're saying, Marco, with all these challenges. So I don't know what you think, Marco, about this answer, but it's really what Sandrine and Danielle were trying to think about, is how can we accommodate families as well? And maybe, Danielle, you want to say something that you're starting to see families now that are coming to the bottom valley and that are actually, instead of going to the resorts, that are basing themselves down the valley and changing their habits of then commuting to other resorts.
You are talking about skiing?
Yeah.
I didn't know, yeah. Yeah, since nearly 2 years now, we have families in the winter coming from either Canton de Vaud, Fribourg, Neuchâtel. They take the Magic Pass for the winter season, and they stay 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights with the kids, without kids. And it could be in the future, I think, that we can have them for a longer time if the parents can even work here and combine in the future even with the school, yes.
Yeah, no, and also something else we're looking with both Zermatt and Sion. How can we create new packages where they can potentially stay 2 or 3 days in Sion, 2 or 3 days in Zermatt, company or family or individual? This is something as well that this project will try to foster. Yeah. Is there another question from the audience? Or another remark? If not, we are 5 minutes early. I propose that we stay in touch. We have your contact details, and please follow what this project from Inoku will offer in the days, months, years to come. We're working on a credit system as well, which will bring more flexibility to companies that we will first trial out on the co-working. But basically, to summarize, is Okay, we have a quick question from Regina, but I'll conclude with this credit ID. Basically, we're putting in place a credit system that you can use over a year. And this, as a company, is really interesting because a company cannot just pay for co-working if it has 20, 30, 40 staff, 5 or 10 staff. But if you offer to a company a credit system for co-working, then they can use it over a year, right? And then what we're thinking with Sandrine and also Daniel is, can we have these credits that can be also used for accommodation or for food or for activities? And this is something that we will try out as well in the days, months to come. And please follow this as well. We'll just take a question from Regina. It seems that the whole process of democratization of the working environment is bringing to the table the very important question that it is not the number of hours, but the impact and efficiency that counts. So this is a very good point. That should we be looking in 10 years' time back and thinking, we were living in a box. Taking a box, whether you call it a car or a metro for an hour or two, if you're living in London, and then coming to another box and putting yourself in front of a screen for 8 hours and then coming back. And sometimes people think that they need to go to an office to be more efficient, but that doesn't mean you're in an office that you're working more. You're probably on Facebook, you're probably discussing with colleagues, you're probably doing a lot of different activities that you could be better doing from Zermatt, Sion, or elsewhere. And I think you're right, Regina. The question of productivity, the question of motivation, the question of humanizing business is also potential if you're in Zermatt, and as Veronique was saying, you go and you take fresh air. You go and you talk with people in a like-minded place, and you get stimulated. And this energy you bring back to your daily business. A teacher was telling me, can I come in a co-working space? Imagine if that teacher, instead of going every day to the teacher's room, and maybe by 50 being demotivated, if that teacher, name it Daniel's daughter, could come in the co-working space and meet people like Pierre or others and have interaction and being stimulated, and I'm sure that teacher brings back not only energy, but maybe ideas to his or her daily job. And I think this is really valuable. What we try with PuraWorka and with the Mama and with the Vivi is bring this energy and interaction at the service of the individuals. So I don't know if that answers to you, Regina. Maybe efficiency, you were saying, and having more time for pleasure and new experiences. We want people in Burma to ski in the morning, or do yoga in the evening, or go training with the fitness that Juma, that Sandrine are developing, or eating healthy. And we believe that this also is enhancing productivity. So yes, having more time to live, and maybe having more time to exchange with others. And this is what we try to do. I don't know if Sandrine or Daniel would want to add something on the question from Regina. If not, last question from the audience or last remark. No question. Sandrine, Daniel, a word of conclusion.
Ladies first.
I'd like to thank everybody so much for participating. And it's so important to us, to exchange continuously, to hear your feedback, because now all of us, we're in it, and all of us were experiencing on our own way new things, and this is so important to us. So if you can continuously share that with us, we'll be so happy and thankful, because through that we can become better and stronger and facilitate better services for you. thank you so much for your time, and I would be so happy to meet you hopefully in person soon.
Thank you to you.
Daniel? Thank you, Sandrine.
Thank you to the audience to follow us for quite 1 hour and be interested in our projects. I am sure that network of professional hotelry, coworking, young people, young-minded digital peoples at all the ages will be the best way to give a chance to go out in a sane way of these moments that we share in the moment with all the COVID situation. I think for the hotel, it's Hotel Mama and Hotel de Vignes. We have a light about the tunnel, and we keep on it. Thank you being part of the project, and happy to go further. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you very much, Sandrine and Daniel, for your trust. Please feel free, participants, to reach out to Daniel, Sandrine, or I. Feel free to copy, feel free to push each other, feel free to challenge us. This always makes us learn and grow, and we'd be happy to welcome you for coffee, for a glass of wine, or for a nice discussion in our spaces or online until we can all see each other. Thank you very much to Hugo, Pierre, and all of those who made it possible tonight, and we hope that this has given birth to hope, to new ideas, or to experience you would like to share with us. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
J'arrête l'enregistrement.
T'as enregistré tout?
Ouais.